Hello everybody, this is the Starving Martian, and I have said on several occasions that I'm not going to be doing any Transformer reviews unless I have something different or unique to add to the YouTube collective, because everybody and their mother's doing these things, and no sense adding to the pile unless I can contribute something different than what's already out there. Well, I think I found something a little bit different for y'all today. This is Robot Transforming Vehicle. I picked these three guys up at a local dollar store, the Dollar Tree. Just poking around in there, picking up some household goods, and I happened to come across these and couldn't help but pick them up and bring them home. You know, I have this weird attraction to cheap and hilarious Transformer knockoffs. And so I had to take these home and see what they were like. You can see three of them here now. None of them have individual names. So there's like warship and missile launcher and tank guy. Um, there's also, and I'll show you the back of the box in a minute, but there's also an airplane which wasn't at the store at the time, which is unfortunate. I missed out on having all four, but I probably didn't miss out on a whole lot. So yeah, dollar store Transformers. Now, the smallest class of official Transformers being sold right now go for about $5, and those are the little guys. Last year we were getting Headmaster kind of guys. Today we're getting Pretenders, but they don't transform into much. They just kind of fold in half, and they're a little disappointing. If you want a Transformer that actually transforms into something, for the smallest one of those, the cheapest one of those, you're looking at a good $10 a pop. So, you know, for us collectors on a budget, getting a Transformer for $1 is rather tempting. But the question is your robot transforming vehicle worth the dollar you're going to be spending to get it? Well, let's take a look at them and I'll let you decide for yourself. Now, size-wise, these guys I think scale pretty well with Legends class figures. Here's a Legends class Bumblebee from Transformers Animated, and he fits in pretty well with them there. All right. I think they're still calling them Legends class, but the bigger ones, the ones that are about $10 these days, um, they're a little bit bigger class-wise than these guys are. So show off the package here. Now you can see this is from the missile launcher, and you can see the colors here are swapped. They got a green one here with mustard colored missiles, and here we got the mustard machine and the green missiles. And I don't know if the other vehicles have any differences like that either. Back of the box, collect them all. And down here you can see that plane guy who's really dwarfy looking, and I would have picked him up if they had him. Sadly, they did not. If I ever see one, perhaps I'll do an update video, but I'm not sure these guys are really worth an update video. So yeah, transforming vehicle, robot transforming vehicle, transform your robot. Fair enough. And what's kind of neat about the boxes, the packaging, is that they're individual. The tank one has a picture of the tank guy on it, so you can see what he's supposed to look like in both modes. Same with the boat, the ship. So let's get into them. We're going to start with the missile launcher guy because he's my favorite of the three. He's extremely simple to transform, very basic, almost Micromaster or Minicon style of transformation. But partially because of that, and partially because I think he holds together the best, and he has the best accessory, which is his missile launcher. It doesn't launch anything, but it does swivel, and it does pivot up and down. And so I think this one here gets you your most play value. Alright, transformation of these is so simple, I'm not even going to bother listing the steps, so just follow along at home. These are just kind of pegged into place, the feet, and they will pop off if you're not careful, so be aware of that. And boom, this guy's done. Alright, now, detail-wise, these are dollar store items, and There's absolutely no paint or anything of that. You wouldn't expect it. The missile launcher just fell off, but that'll peg right back into place. So they sculpted his face on. Actually, I like the sculpting on his face. It's not a bad face at all. Sculpting's pretty good on this guy. These, of course, are his arms. And because of the backpack, he doesn't really stand. Well, yes, he does. Actually, you have to lean him on the backpack. But he stands at a funny angle. So we'll put him off to the side. This guy here, the tank, is probably the most difficult, if I can say, of any of them to transform. Just because these bits here have to swivel to get them fully transformed, and they can get in the way of other things. So it's not difficult as much as it is annoying. But basically, we're gonna kind of fiddle with it until the pieces start coming apart. And these do have to flip that way. Alright, now we can... He's got these long arms, and this bit here will fold down. And he makes a pretty good robot too. Like I said, he does have these huge arms. But I do like the fact that he gets a little extra chest piece that folds over. His face sculpt is also pretty decent. And one thing I like about these is the quality of the plastic. Now, these aren't obviously Hasbro quality plastic. They feel like dollar store plastic. They do feel cheap. But I've definitely seen cheaper plastics on some of these dollar store type transforming robots. I've seen some that are just so brittle you'll feel you're going to stick your finger through them. These aren't like that. They're not the strongest plastic in the world, but you can give them to a kid without, fearing that they're going to, have jagged edges that are going to spear their flesh or anything. So let's put him off to the side. And again, I don't know if I'm going to get him standing. There we go. He actually does have back heels, so stands reasonably well, all things considered. Alright, here's the ship. This part here is a little loose, but there's part of the robot. So I'm going to swivel that around. And you're going to come here and... Yeah, I said I wasn't going to explain this step by step. Here I am. This pegs in pretty well. There we go. And these bits just fold down to form the arms. Interesting thing is this guy's the only one who has hands sculpted on inside of his arms. I don't know how well those come out, but there's one hand. And there's the other actual fists molded in there, so that's kind of cool. I don't know if this leg bit down here is supposed to stay extended or not, but it really doesn't. He can't hold his own weight. In fact, on his box, the robot mode is actually pictured with the legs collapsed. So it looks like they sculpted in a little bit of leg detail, but they knew it wasn't going to support itself. So yeah, so he's just gonna flop over. This guy's gun sticking off the top of his head, looks kind of cool. And there's the three of them in their robot modes. And again, size-wise, here's Legends Class Megatron. It's a little bit shorter than them. So again, for the $1 a piece, are these worth picking up? If you're picking them up for a kid, I'd say yeah, go ahead. Don't make it like their big birthday gift or anything. But if you know a kid who already has a bunch of Transformers, these make good kind of cannon fodder. The guys that you don't mind Devastator stepping on as he's marching across, that sort of thing. They're not going to be anybody's favorite transforming robot toys, but they're not bad, additions to the rank and file. For a adult collector, I would pass on these unless you happen to be into, Transformer knockoffs. And if so, then, more power to you. Grab them if you see them. As I said, the current Transformers, here's Sea Spray. So, next to our other boat guy. And as you can see, You know, this guy costs 10 times as much, but you're also getting 10 times the robot for him. This is a much nicer toy and much better on your shelf in your collection. So while these guys aren't the worst I've ever seen, trust me on that, they're also you know, for you know, the Transformer collector, unless you already have a shelf reserved for cheap knockoffs, I'd say you could probably pass on these. But if you do decide to pick them up, I mean, you're only risking $1, so go for it if you can. Alright, well, this has been the Starving Martian. We'll catch up with you next week with some more reviews. Until then, have a good one, everybody.